So now it looks like Reload Esports is gearing up for an additional pull. Oh, what are they? Okay, so they pulled those mobs that stand in front of Halkias. You do see the mage there. He frosted over them while they're trying to grab the Stoneborn. Okay, so now Halkias has killed off those ads that they did have caught in that Nova, and they have engaged Halkias here. This is a very scary pull on a 21 Tyrannical. I think that the linchpin here is going to be the tank's survivability, but assuming he's able to face tank all of this trash long enough for the Frost Mage to kill it off, this is looking really good for Reload Esports.
Yeah, and Delta brought in those two Stoneborns that they mind-controlled, that Holy Paladin vent their Covenant, making that possible, and now they're having all of those casts go off again because of those inspired mobs being in there, so all of the collect sins casts going off, meaning those bunch of animated sins are gonna spawn. Not a problem though, they have very low HP, so they're just gonna die to random AoE damage, and now they're pulling the middle pack in as well, so they're gonna get a lot of percentage from this pull that they're doing, while also cleaving the boss, so this is really efficient.
Yeah, now Sepako is our carry, gearing up for a very similar pull. You do see them grabbing double Loyal Stoneborn here, looking to pull some more trash into Halkias, very similar to what Reload Esports. It felt like their pulls were almost mirrored. It was like a deja vu moment, where Sepako is just slightly behind where Reload Esports is, but now we see the first deviation in routing. Sepako going a little bit smaller onto this pull, but they're grabbing that middle pack on top of just a couple of those Stoneborns that they ended up grabbing. And Reload Esports is somewhere in the range of like 70% ahead on Halkias as it currently stands. Ooh, no weapons, no lust on a 22 Tyrannical. That is a very scary endeavor. Okay, so now they break that poly and get another. Okay, so they're leaving it polymorphed whenever the throw cleaver is like off cooldown, because they don't want him to just like throw flash or do any casts or anything like that. They would rather him just sit inside that polymorph, and then whenever that throw cleaver is available, then they break him out of the poly. But now Reload Esports has two of these creations up at once, and this is really dangerous as it's going to start doing group-wide damage. There is the double hook here. Oh, you see Simkins lobbing a hammer into Surge and Stitch Flash. I think that may have been an audible, that may have been a practiced call. This is very dangerous here, though, because you see the whole entire party just taking insane amounts of damage on them. If they get a third creation, it can all be up in the air. And now you have Surge and Stitch Flash leaping onto the platform. One of the meat hooks may connect with the other creation. Here's a third creation for Reload Esports. This may be a wipe nigger. This is really bad.
This is really bad.
Unhealable amounts of damage.
The problem is it's so hard to get the boss down when there's so many creations up, because they're hooking each other, and I think that's what's gonna happen again. I'm not sure if they get the boss. They didn't get the boss. This is exactly what happens if you have so many creations. You try to hook the boss, but they're just hooking each other, and they're not gonna make it. They're gonna have a full wipe here. They're gonna have to go again. This went so wrong on so many levels at the very end there. Yeah, their Paladin must have a hard time finding that one. As John's army actually did a little bit of a bigger pull as they pulled the Brute into this, while Omega Pump skipped the Brute. But because of that, they were faster into the next pack. And they're pulling Crixus here with the Tormentor mob and the whole boss room. So this is an incredibly large pull. They are committing the Bloodlust and the Ash, and basically all offensive cooldowns that they still have available. There's going to be a lot of damage coming out onto the tank and the group, and a lot of dangerous casts that need to be dropped here with all of those ticks that are already dead, I guess, and all of the bursting coming out as well.
Mode simultaneously doing 60,000 DPS and 20,000 HPS here in a beautiful display of the strength of the Ashen Hallow. That is now finally fading, and he will be a mere mortal for another 3.5 minutes, but that was an impressive moment for the Holy Paladin on the side of Omega Pump there.
So it makes sense to actually go for a little bit more single target in my hat, at least. Since it is tyrannical and you would want the damage there at most.
Yeah, I think that definitely does make sense as to like where you would want the damage allocation. On top of that, sub bringing a decent amount of priority damage for things like this Portal Guardian. I bet the Rogue there going to be pumping a large amount of damage into that Portal Guardian. The Steepriders ended up pulling this pack before their healer was even ready. Ooh, they were able to get through that first cast from that Portal Guardian without their healer. Jackson shambles as he realizes his innate value to his group, and Impy laughing as they all realize that we don't need additional healing. We are out here just fine by ourselves.
I mean, to be fair, in the current meta, healers are a little bit more, it's like the Holy Paladin has this feature called healing, but they're doing damage, right? Like it is true. Like the healers are mostly doing damage, and only when like spicy situations occur, they're holding out a hand to save their team. But the focus is definitely not like it would be in earlier X packs where you're getting a lot more throughput on healing.
Oh, tell me more about healer's jobs, please. Insult more people. I want to hear it.
I'm not insulting people. I used to be a healer.
Uh-huh.
But it should go all down smoothly. They were only finishing up on that Praetor, whereas John's army is just now running in and pulling that big Goliath pull.
Yeah, and the Steve Breeders comp, they do have 2 soothes coming out of that Rogue and that Hunter, being able to get those mobs off, soothed off. And now John's army, here's their second Ashen Hollow of the dungeon. They're dropping on this Goliath. I actually really like this Ashen Hollow, just where the innate value of this is. And they have all of their Praetors and all of these other mobs grouped up. And immediately you see that Frost Nova to try to make sure that these other Praetors are going to be able to be stacked. They could also elect to use a Binding Shot. Procking it would be pretty difficult. Ooh, and here comes the Ring of Peace as well to continue to keep these mobs grouped up. Ooh, and John's army has a Rebellious Fist goes off, and the Windwalker monk on their side has died. Oh no.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate there. That pull looked so clean. I was super rooting for them. And then that went through. John, super low, will die here. Can they manage to finish at least some of the mobs here? That will be really, really difficult for them. Sankey down. Okay, Mage in the pot. Maybe just a Praetor if Penguin can manage. There's Turtle. They're trying to save everything they can while the rest of the team is running there to help their fighting teammate. And that is Feign Death. And then again the pull to keep them in fight. Ice Block. They're trying everything. Penguin down, but here comes John and gets them back. Wow, what a teamwork to actually keep the Goliaths there until John can finally manage to catch back up with his team. Man, oh man, what a pull.
Yeah, and you can actually outrange the Rebellious Fist. It's like something like 30 yards, but whenever the mobs are like actively running at you, it's very difficult to be able to maintain that amount of threat. And on the right side of the screen, you see the Steve Brooders not having any problems, and John's army has an enraged Rebellious Fist go off, and it's killed everybody off except for John. And more problems happen for them, while the Steve Brooders capitalizing on their failure and continuing to progress through the dungeon. They did a great job in their double pull, with that spear and using stuff like that. They were doing it a little bit slower. I didn't see if they committed that Kyrian spear, but I did know that they broke it up into 2 separate packs. And so that's just something that they are doing. Ooh, and now they're shrouding past this squad leader pull. We've seen some teams pull this squad leader pack. I'm not a big fan, but now the Steve Brooders have engaged Ventinax. They hear my pleas, and they've dropped Ashen Hollow. And John's army, both of these Goliaths are sitting in a recharge anima phase, and this is a pull that's lasted a very long time for them. They finally are able to get it down.
Boss, even though they've been doing this run that we've been describing as safe, is nothing like safe at all compared to what people do on the live servers, right? Very few people fight this thing with Sagadon and Oros active, and both teams are doing that, so this is such a challenging boss fight with both of those active.
Reload Esports took a detour and ended up killing Sagadon, which made a lot of sense to me, because they're banking on the Steve Brooders wiping to this boss. That would be the only way that they're going to be able to catch up. And as I say that, Reload Esports, using that Flesh Crafter, they are getting a lot of damage on now. Well, a lot more than I thought that they would at least have.
There's just, if you look at the times, like, yeah, maybe there's a hope that they can do enough damage with the Flesh Crafter to overtake. But if you look at the 85
to kill
seconds
the boss,
of depth differential, I don't think they have any hope of 85 seconds worth of faster here. But still, their best bet, as you said, is for Steve Brooders to have something go wrong, and that is not impossible. This is a hard boss fight, and we saw on the side of Reload Esports just how quickly 1 or 2 deaths can turn into 5.
Dude, their Disc Priest is and they have 2 DPS down in that phase right now. Ooh, and Impy ends up going down. You see his hands on his head as he's going to come back up with 7 stacks and drop that Frost debuff like almost in the middle of the room. It's a little bit off-center where he's going to be teleported to. Oh, this could be very bad for the Steve Brooders.
Yeah, where exactly is Impy's body? I can't even see it.
What happened?
Yeah, it looks like
He's so
detective on the
frustrated.
scene.
He may be dead in a non-teleportable location. There are sometimes whenever you die down that platform, if you die in like a weird spot, you can't be teleported back up, and it may be one of those situations. And the healer for Steve Brothers has gone down. This is so
They've
bad.
got to land that battle res.
Cap has to live. They're trying to grab the battle res right now. You do see that engineering battle res coming up. Ooh, and Setso ends up getting threaded on Althor for a second, and ends up getting killed off. I don't know exactly what happened. I do no longer have a battle res. Impy ends up getting rezzed at some point as well. Somehow he's back alive. I don't really... Oh, no! This is so bad! No!
Cap has gone down here, but Reload Esports aren't out of it just yet. So Team Sheathbearders have now wiped, and Reload Esports are going to try and kill this boss. Looks like they're actually going to try and land a res on Simpkins here. Very ambitious B-res from Malik, even with the boss at 10% health, but now the boss is finally going to die. Reload Esports are going to take out their nemesis there, Nalthor the Rhymebinder. They are going to stop their clock. There are now 90 seconds, minus 30, so 60 seconds of death differential between these two teams.
One Houndmaster, though, that they CC'd on the side, and it's taking them quite a while to finish it off.
That's so Echo did a good job of once their obliterators were low enough, they got that Houndmaster grouped up with the rest of the pack so that they could just like even cleave it down. Where Incarnation having to put a lot more solo damage into that, and now that allows Echo to grab this advantage here. Ooh, they've done the technique where they grab triple Stoneborn into Halkias. This is absolutely great. So you're able to get like multiple Stoneborns off to the left side. And so they have grabbed 3 of those, and that's going to increase their boss damage by a substantial amount. And with it being a 21 Tyrannical, this is a super cool move coming in from Echo. Yeah, and it's just the advantage of that Hunter. For Yoda on Incarnation's side, they have to commit that 1 minute cooldown in the Force of Nature trees. Where Echo, you have Gingi on that Hunter just using his pet to be able to pull as much as he realistically can. And so now Incarnation has made their way into this remaining trash area, the same one that Echo is currently in. And you see Yoda here is able to grab this trash pack today. He even the stampeding roars his trees to allow his trees. Yeah, it makes him run faster.
That's
a good
amazing.
move.
I like it. That's 5-head. I saw him casted roar. And it's like, how did he mispress? And then I realized he's actually roaring the trees to make sure that trash comes in faster. That's a really nice tech by Incarnation.
Ooh, they end up dealing with one of the Necromancers with using their Goliath Orbs to deal with that. And oh my goodness, this is something that we haven't seen before. Executioner of Ruth gets pulled at 100% HP into a mark. That is something that we never see teams do.
We actually did see that before from Obey Alliance, even though it wasn't a 22 Tyrannical. Obey Alliance was having this really impressive strategy where they used those orbs, because they still have the orbs from the Goliath, right? Mm-hmm. And it allowed them to pull Baruth into the boss. But Echo did commit a weapon here. You see Baruth died incredibly quickly. That's because Now did use, I believe it was a spear or an orb, not sure. One of those 2 weapons were committed by Now to make sure this pull works out for them. And this is really good because you don't waste this time single targeting down Baruth. It's intended to not even do this pull. It really just seems like a superior strategy at this point. And I don't know what the Incarnation is doing right now, but they're gathering up the mini-boss, Baruth, the Warden, and more trash. This is an absolutely crazy pull. I don't know what's even going on.
Well, okay, what we normally see from most teams here is where Echo's at right now, they will do 2 major trash packs on top of that lantern to get them a buff and extend the buff. Incarnation did the one big pull and just carried that buff through. It's not going great for them right now. Cryptix has procced his Pod Tinter. He's going to be healed through it, but that means he's not active to help them cleave these down. And if he's really unlucky, he might get hit by a frontal from Javelin as he comes out, who is still alive, but with Executioner down, most of the danger of the pull has gone down, but they've procced their cheat deaths across the board. There's no Pod Tender, there's no cheat death on the Rogue. They still have Javelin alive, but now they have 2 of their buffs, and I mean, that was a spicy pull, but they pulled it off with style there. Yeah, I mean, they're just pulling more. Why not? You know? We can't extend our buff anymore. Are they There's no shot they're pulling this into the boss. They're pulling all of this into the boss. A Sentinel plus Scribes plus Ghouls into the boss? What? Why would you? I mean, I guess they have 50% damage, but why would you do this? This is just bonkers. If they're able to pull this off, they are going to be so far ahead, and it's going to look so good, but this is so dangerous. Once those ghouls are alive, though, I'm pretty sure they're chilling. What is Incarnation doing in this dungeon? This is so wild.
This is actually so incredibly wild. I don't even know what's going on anymore at this point. They just doing one crazy pull after the other, and it just seems like they have to slow down eventually, but not Incarnation, not Dorky. He just keeps pulling stuff on top of the bosses, on top of the mini bosses, on top of Baruth. This is just absolutely insane. Echo just now engaged Tarvold, and you can see Incarnation. They're already up to 73% trash. That actually, I don't think that is quite enough to go down though. Do they have to do one more pull? Because Echo is up to 76% trash on their side, and they have some more ghouls as well. So I do think Incarnation might have to do one extra trash pull here before they go down.
Let's see what they plan on doing.
Oh
here.
no!
I mean, if there was ever an in-game example of all gas, no brakes, it was the way that Incarnation pulled that section of the dungeon just now. That was just completely bonkers.
Yeah, definitely. Look at Echo, and they have to go through this RP as well. They're stunned. They can't do anything. They just have to wait until they get down. And now they're gonna have to find that trash. You see, everyone is running backwards. They're gonna have to find that bat, and maybe if it's a bad patrol, they might not even get it immediately. You can see they're just like panically trying to look for it. They're just running backwards. There's still that trash in the hallway, but Incarnation, they're getting closer and closer to the boss. Again, 10 seconds in favor of Echo. So Echo actually does have 10 extra seconds after Incarnation kills that boss, but it's taking them so long to actually find any trash. They're just running, desperately trying to find some trash, but it's such a long run back to them to get there. General count dropping lower and lower for Incarnation.
Is the team that pulled the boss first going to lose every single map in this dungeon? The boss is down for Incarnation. Stop the clock. 10 seconds on the board. Echo needs to kill one of these trash mobs in the next 10 seconds, or this is going to be the series for Incarnation. And that's it. The timer is gone. Incarnation has taken this series and this tournament over Echo 2-1. Oh my god, what a debut for this squad.
Oh, you can just see the frustration there by Gingi as they unfortunately do lose the series to Incarnation.